Yeah. Yo, people on the grill. Welcome to the Mental Pit. Snap Podcast. Yeah. Snap Podcast. Yeah. Grover on the grid. Welcome to the Mental Pit Stop Podcast. Life's a track with corners that come fast. Some days we hit the apex clean, sharp and true. Other days we miss wide, but that's part of the view. See, racing in life, both demand we adapt. Yeah. Reset the line, find grip where it's cracked. We've all faced pressure, burnout, and doubt. Moments where the engine feels ready to give out. But this pit stop's a place to refuel and repair. To breathe in the moment and know you're still there. It's not about trophies, not glory or fame. It's running your laps and staying in the game. So when shadows draft close or the road feels long, remember in this paddock, you'll always belong. We'll talk truth, share struggles, and keep it real tight. Cause every lap matters, every voice has the right. So buckle up, settle in, find strength in each lap. On this track called life, we can do this together.
Welcome to another lap with the Mental Pit Stop Podcast, Episode 3, The Crash, Coping with Setbacks. As always, quick disclaimer, I am not a licensed mental health professional. What I share here is about personal experiences and reflection. It's not medical advice. If you're struggling, please seek help from a qualified mental health professional or call your local crisis hotline. All right, let's get into this. As always, I will start with an affirmation. Same one as always. You're welcome to say it along with me. And you're also welcome to say in the comments, I think affirmations are stupid and can you just get on with it and not do that? I would love to hear your feedback. I am strong. I am worthy of all good things that come my way. I won't let my mind overpower me. I will stay present and grateful for the moment. I will take care of myself and those around me. I will focus on what I control, and I won't let my trauma define me. As I always say, you can write your own. You can share it in the comments. I'm curious to see, do you find affirmations work for you? Have you used them before? Maybe it can help one other person. So I have portions throughout here that I call the crash, and then other portions that I call the rise. We've all crashed at one point. I have a couple stories for today. One is about my mom, probably going to be a little bit emotional trying to get through that, but I'll start with the story when I was in Afghanistan. I was a platoon second in command, a warrant officer. Our platoon at the time was a QRF, which is Quick Reaction Force. We would have one section on 5 minutes notice to move, another on 10, and another on 15. In this situation, we rolled out as a platoon to respond to a Canadian embassy vehicle that was struck by a IED, an improvised explosive device. It was a Toyota Highlander, what we would refer to as up-armored. So basically, it was like an armored, same as, a lot of either private security companies, government, they use Escalades, and there's many different versions of armored SUVs. In this time that we responded, many of my young soldiers that were under my command at this time were young. It was their first deployment, and they hadn't seen carnage like we saw. Thankfully, it could have been a lot worse. Everybody walked away with a few scrapes and bruises, but for the most part, it was okay. But as we arrived on the scene and we set up a security perimeter, so, the engineers go in, make sure it's cleared, military police do a little forensic investigation and whatnot. And, there's locals standing around everywhere and you never know what's going to happen. But in this case, the soldiers were focused on the carnage that was in the center of the security perimeter. And I had to come on the radio and remind them that's not where the threat's coming from. That has already exploded. The real danger is still out there, in front of us, not within. And that lesson stuck with me for quite a while. Crashes happen on the track, one wrong move, one late break, a bump from another car can send you into the wall, into a spin, off the track, whatever have you, right? We all know that. In life, it's no different. Setbacks happen. Sometimes lose a job, facing rejection, dealing with health struggles, health issues, struggling with relationships. In my case, struggling to maintain relationships has always been a struggle for me. The crash itself is scary, but the real challenge comes after. Do you get stuck staring at the crash? Or do you shift your focus, climb out, regroup, and find a way to keep racing and keep going in life? The truth is, every driver crashes. We've all done it. I don't care if you're A-plus, I've seen it. I've seen it. And I'm like, oh, okay. A-plus drivers can crash too, so I guess it's okay if I do. But the crash doesn't define you. It's how you respond. Do you learn from it? Do you adjust your line? Maybe you're a little too eager on the throttle, which is one of my bad habits. And do you find a way to keep racing? You know, you rebuild with patience and persistence and practice a little bit more. And you may struggle or stumble a little bit, but you're improving with each apex, with each life challenge that comes your way. The key is a crash doesn't end your race. It's just part of it. It's about moving on. It's about rising. Okay, so this is where things may get a little more difficult for me. I've said in previous episodes, I was adopted. My mother was 15. I was adopted by an amazing family right from birth. My adopted mom was my rock. She adopted me from birth and gave me the chance, gave me for everything. And maybe I'll talk about that in another podcast at some point, about that whole context of adoption and life choices and whatnot. But my adopted mother taught me how to love. She showed me stability, a foundation to stand on. She taught me how to give to others, how to show kindness, how to lead with my heart. But I was young, I was immature, and the one thing I shared in common with my mom was stubbornness. And that stubbornness cost me something I could never get back. At the time, I came back from, I think at the time I was deployed 3 times and was going through a divorce. And my mom wanted to maintain contact and friendship with my ex. And I didn't see it the same way she did. I said, "You're my mom." And through perhaps stubbornness and jealousy, I thought, why are you, I don't want to say somewhat abandoning me, but it hurt. It hurt that she wanted to maintain that relationship with her when, she wasn't in my life anymore. And we drifted apart for like 2 years. At the same time, she was going through cancer. I let my pride and jealousy and resentment build a wall between us. And for this 2 years, we did not speak. I'll never forget, on a Friday, my brother called me and said, mom's not doing very well. You should really take some time off work and come down and see her. Take some time off work. She needs to see you. And she's not doing very well. And I said, I will take some time off work next week. I'm super busy with work. I had a few things I had to do on that weekend, and I remember it like it was yesterday, and it was 25 years ago. I said, I'll drive down 6 hours on Monday, take the week off, and spend some time with her and the rest of the family. But on Sunday, my brother called, and this time he said, don't bother coming down. You can wait until you come down for Mom's funeral. I can't explain the weight that crash had on my life for years. My stubbornness, my immaturity, the guilt, the shame, I don't want to say haunted me, but it impacted me so much. Still, to this day, it's been 25 years, and I'm quite sure you can hear my emotions. I didn't have the chance to say goodbye. I didn't have the chance to say I'm sorry. The woman who taught me everything. I left home to join the military just before my 19th birthday, and she didn't like it. She didn't like me joining the army. We were very, I don't want to say passive, but, that type of army military, it just wasn't something that my family saw as a line of work that I should get into. But I'll never forget when I called from basic training, and I was in tears, and I said, Mom, I can't do this. It's too hard. I was about to say, she said Grover, but she didn't. She said my real name and said, you signed up for this, and you will finish this. Regardless of my thoughts on your career choice, and whether it was going to be a career or something I did for a short time, who knew at that time? But she said, you will finish this. I love you. I support you. And it was that, that support, that love that she had, that just impacted me so much, that I was so stubborn, and I went through that crash for years and years and years, decades. I just wanted to call her up and say, I'm sorry. But even though that was my crash, that was the hardest thing I had to face at that time. But what it taught me is I can't change the moment, can't change the past. And I think going through that helped me later on in my military career, as I was faced with so much grief, so many soldiers that I lost, so many friends, so many colleagues. It taught me that all I can do is carry lessons forward. Never let that happen again. I won't ever let my stubbornness stop me from doing the right thing. Never again will I let my pride, my jealousy cost me. It's a deep wound that hurts. And she gave me everything. But it also reminds me that forgiveness and love is so important. It's the bigger picture before it's too late, and a reminder to honor the kindness my mom lived by, because she taught me so much. Thanks for being there with me and listening and helping me get through that. I'm sitting here thinking about all the people that are going to listen, and you're the ones in my pit crew that helped me through this right now, literally. When we crash, we need tools to get back in the race. And I just want to go through a few that have helped me. Maybe they can help you as well. The first is the 3-step reset: pause, repair, refuel. It's so important to pause, reflect, journal, sit with that emotion, repair that emotion, apologize if you need to, and refuel, and take just one step at a time. The next is permission to feel. It's okay. It's okay to admit that you're not okay. That's kind of my new slogan now, if you will. Honesty is what starts healing. And I wish now, in my more seasoned, mature years, I would have known this earlier, because I wouldn't have had to endure the grief that I did. The third one is the anchor. Find that one small ritual that grounds you. For me, it's journaling, going for a walk. It used to be running when I was a marathon runner, but now walking is good for me. Sometimes it's as simple as breathing. Remember, don't waste the time that you have today. The fourth is the crew check. The pit crew, as I've talked about before. Reach out to that one person you trust. I reached out to one person I trust today because I had a few things on my mind, and I wanted to get perspective. Lean on your pit crew. Lean on those ones that you can trust, and eliminate the ones that you can't. The fifth is the 1% rule. On the hardest days, just do one small thing. Move forward 1%. If you were currently P2 globally on Le Mans this week, and you improved by 1%, 1/10, half a tenth, whatever those, I always have a hard time. Okay, is that a tenth or a half or whatever's that? But if you improve that 1% and that moved you into P1 globally, do you think that's progress? Do you think that's a step in the right direction? Freaking damn right it is. Progress compounds. Those little steps that you take in life, they will compound. And within a few days, weeks, months, you're like, okay, I have the strength. I got this. I'm going to get back on the track. The sixth one is look forward, not back. Don't keep staring at the wreck. Like I told my soldiers, the danger isn't behind you. It's ahead. And so is your next step. I'd love to hear in the comments if you have the strength, the courage, and the honesty and trust to think back to a crash you've faced recently, or like myself, decades ago. Did you get stuck staring at the wreck, or did you find the courage to look up and just move forward that 1%? Maybe today is the day you ask yourself, who do I need to forgive, including myself? And in my therapy journey, if you will, that's what helped me the most. Same as some of the situations I'll talk about in my military career. I held on to so much because I couldn't forgive myself. So the situation with my mom, the incident, I sometimes have to find humor in things to find peace. But the first thing I had to do is forgive myself. And once I forgived myself and said, I will never let this happen again, that's when I really started to heal. Obviously, the hurt, the pain, the grief is still there. So in closing, I just want to say that I appreciate everyone that has taken the time trying to make most of these around 20, 25-ish minutes. This one might be a little bit longer, but I want to say this podcast is based on personal reflections, not professional advice, if you will. If you're struggling, please reach out. If you want to talk to me on Discord, please reach out. If you need the professional help, it's not something to be ashamed about. I've had to reach out, as you heard in my last podcast. I've reached out at my darkest, lowest moments. And I'm glad I did, because I'm here today to speak to you and get to know you and all of that. And in my next episode, episode 4, we will talk about the long race, the marathon. How do you keep your focus and energy when the journey sometimes feels endless? As I've said, please share, comment. I want to hear your thoughts. And until next time, take care of yourself. Lean on your pit crew and keep driving forward. Remember, it's okay to say you're not okay.